Good morning, my beautiful soul followers. Hope everyone is starting their day out amazingly. So this morning, I was really thinking over some of my experiences over the last month or two with the spiritual community and kind of seeing how spirituality is being used right now. And in truth, I'm a little disgusted, so I was feeling a little feisty, and so today is a feistier Addison Unleashed video. Because in truth, there's a lot of times over the last few weeks or months that I've become a little disenchanted with our spiritual community and how in truth, it is making us kind of assholes a lot of times when it's taken to the extreme. And I know you might be going, but Addison, you teach on spirituality, you do Tantra, which is very much a spiritual but philosophy and energy and all of this beautiful stuff. Today I'm even wearing my really super flowy stuff that makes me feel extra just feminine and feeling good. But I was really thinking, and in truth, I'm going to present. I actually made notes today because I never make notes for my videos, but today there were so many elements that were popping into my mind and I wanted to hit them all. And before I go into them and I kind of tear them down, I want to say that there is a element of each of these that is incredibly helpful in our growth as humans and moving forward. But all of these can be used in a negative way. All of these can be used to actually make us disconnect from our fellow man, which is not the point of spirituality. I see a lot of spiritual elitism right now, and that bothers me. That bothers me because it is a skewing of true spirituality. It is a skewing of energies and different principles. And so I look around, and right now on Facebook, and I was on TikTok last night because if you don't know, I have just a playful TikTok channel. I'm not doing anything super serious over there. It is just for fun because I feel like we need some laughter. But I spent like 20-30 minutes just doing, the scroll up since Facebook had been down. And the pain I was seeing over and over and over again was extreme, and I feel like some of our spiritual principles is actually leading to more pain right now in our society, more suffering because of how it's being used. One of these principles that I actually speak about all the time is being selfish, not self-centered, but being selfish, putting self first. And this is actually one that I really do agree with. We do need to put ourselves most of the time first. We need to think of ourselves and our own growth and fill our own tank so that it's overflowing. We can give beautiful energy to other people. If we are constantly giving but not taking care of self, in truth what we're giving is not really our best selves. We are giving half-heartedly. However, guess what? Sometimes other people do come first in our lives. Sometimes other people do come first. And so this is where I really disagree with actually this principle of selfishness, because I do think it is important to take care of self, but there are times in our lives where that doesn't work. That is not connective. That is not in the relationship cards. So if I have somebody that is incredibly sick, a family member, a friend, and I'm just tired, I'm not exhausted, I can't move, I'm so exhausted, but I'm just like a little tired, guess what? The selfish thing would be to not go see that friend, not go help that friend or family member, and just go take a nap. However, the loving thing, the thing that might actually be my growth, is going to step up into that, to go and actually give of myself when maybe I'm not at my best. Maybe I'm not at my very best. And so this idea that you always come first ends up actually disconnecting us in relationship. It's this no fucks given kind of energy. And the fact is, when we have no fucks given, and I absolutely hate that statement when I see it, because it's all over the place. It's all, how atrocious. No fucks given. Like, that's so horrible. It's such a horrible statement. Guess what? We should care about things in our lives. We should care about people in our lives. And to be giving the finger to everybody in our life, that is not spiritual. That is not connective. That is not going within. That is the opposite. That is disconnecting. That is not loving. And I see it all the time. No fucks given. I'm like, guess what? We were put here to give fucks, to care, to find the things that are right for us. And I'm about to use a word that actually I'm about to hate on, but it's aligned for us to care. It is aligned for us when we're here as humans to care about our fellow human. And so to go into this no fucks given energy is not spiritual. It's not healthy. It is cold. It is unfeeling. It is not compassionate. And it is tearing our world apart, in my humble opinion. So going on to that word that I just used, alignment. So I love this word. Actually, I love aligning. I think I work with all of my clients to align their chakras, their energy, align in their relationship, align to what their goals and desires are in their life, align each morning. So I love alignment. I love alignment. However, sometimes it gets used to avoid, to disconnect. So if you have a goal or you're going to do something at work and it challenges you, a lot of times we go, it's just not in alignment. It's not an alignment for me. Or I see my singles clients use this often in relationship. It's like, oh, like they made me angry. We're just not aligned. Instead of reaching in and going, okay, maybe there just needs to be some communication here. Maybe this is a space where I get to grow. I get to step up. Because guess what? Sometimes our hardest times, our most challenging times, whether that's in our goals, our work, within ourselves and in our emotions, are our growth elements. Now, I don't believe you must struggle for all your growth. I think that is a misnomer. I think we can grow in a multitude of ways. But one of those ways, and especially in relationship, and when we're challenging ourselves to step up, is to push through those difficult things. And so a lot of times alignment gets used to avoid yourself, to avoid your growth, to avoid your spirituality. I can't tell you how many times I've sat with clients that are like, it's just not in alignment. I'm like, is it not in alignment, or are you just blowing smoke up your own ass here? And you're not willing to do the work. And I'm usually nice, a little nicer, not always. Sometimes I hit my clients with a spiritual baseball bat, but they love me. They love me, and they usually know that I'm coming at it from a very loving space. However, this word alignment often gets used to avoid things we just don't want to do. And when somebody upsets us, when we're being challenged, and this is a beautiful growth space, is for us to step up in those moments. We need to do the hard work. Another one, and this isn't as much as spiritual, but it often gets used of like we don't owe anybody in our lives. And I don't like the word owe, but there is this energy of you owe, again, no fucks given, like we owe no one anything in our lives. And I do have actually an issue with this. I do have an issue, and it's hard because I do believe that there are times when we need to step up and go, I don't owe anybody anything. I need to do me. I need to follow my path. And I feel like this is when this phrase, this principle works beautifully, when you really are trying to do something and You have people in your life that, no, you owe me. You have to follow my path. You have to do what I want you to do. I don't think that's healthy. However, I do believe we, in our relationships, have people that have earned a level of respect in our lives. They have earned explanations in our lives. They've earned energy. They have earned energy. And when it's not the I owe someone, it's a level of respect. It's a level of respect. It's a level of showing up as a loving human being. It's a level of growing, because a lot of times it's like, I don't owe anyone. I hear I don't owe anyone an explanation oftentimes. And while there are times that is true, if somebody can't hear us, it's oftentimes explanations, conversations is where both we grow, because we're able to speak our truth, and also we're able to hear somebody else's truth. And so there is a level of respect we do owe other humans just by being human, just by being in this world, just by stepping up. And to put this blatant, I don't owe anyone anything, which I hear a lot in spiritual communities, can go south. Now, if we always feel like we're owing people things and there is this commerce, that's not a healthy dynamic. However, if you're using that to disconnect, again, to avoid your hard work, to avoid the connection, to avoid giving back, because guess what? When we give, we're also growing spiritually. We're expanding our vessel, where we are learning our own lessons. And so this energy of I don't owe anyone, I feel is wrong. Like there are people in my life and I'm like, no, like I owe them, or they have earned. I don't like the word owe. And I want you to really think about how you make this applicable to your life, because I know if you're following me, then you are definitely into spirituality, so I'm sure you use some of this. And so are you using it in a healthy, connective, growth-oriented way, or are you using it to be a spiritual elitist, to disconnect yourself, to put yourself above others? I get all this like spiritual like elitism, like, oh, I'm spiritual, I know this. Like, we've all seen those people. And so are you using it as a disconnector, or are you using it as a way to connect? And so there are people in my life, I go, no, they have earned a level of respect. They have earned a conversation. They have earned to receive energy back, because we have this energy flow, not necessarily commerce. It's not you did this for me, so I owe you this. It's an energy flow. And so yes, if your wife continues to give, you owe her some energy back. You owe her some love back. That is how we keep our relationships healthy. And this often gets used when we're in arguments with our intimate partners. It's like I don't owe you anything. But as a human, and this is where we get into the asshole behavior, it's not that we owe them, but sometimes people have earned a certain level of respect in our lives. And as a human being, they've earned a level of respect. And then kind of moving on from that is law of attraction. And I love law of attraction. You know, I fully believe in law of attraction. It is an amazing, amazing principle. Though it is oftentimes used in times when somebody is really struggling. If I have a client sitting in front of me and they are crying and they're really upset, something really drastic has happened in their lives, I might go, kind of they called this one in. I might think like, oh, okay, like their thoughts are calling this in. However, in that moment, to look at somebody and be like, well, you called that in. You called that in. That's because you have horrible thoughts. And to pull up more pain and more suffering in somebody, and to use law of attraction as a weapon, is a horrible thing to do. I do feel like it's just a horrible thing to do. I'm not going to pretty it up. It's a horrible thing to do. Because yes, you can encourage somebody to be like, look at how you're thinking about that. Like, watch your thoughts. But to use law of attraction as a weapon, which it oftentimes gets used of shaming, like, oh, well, your life sucks because your thoughts are off, because it's the energy of what you're doing it. So if you're into law of attraction, just watch how you're presenting that information to other people, how you're sharing. Are you using it as a weapon to tear somebody down and go, oh, well, you're just not in alignment with your own thoughts. You're thinking the wrong things. You're manifesting wrong. Like, are you using it, again, to step up? And if you'll start to hear a pattern here. It's the disconnection and the stepping up above other people. This is where we really get into issues with any of these principles. I have two more, and then I promise I will let you guys go, but I really do want you to think about your own lives and where you use them, because I can tell you there's been times when I've used these, and so it's to keep your spirituality healthy and vibrant and going in the right way, which I feel love is always where our spirituality should be connecting us. And if it's doing anything but connecting us to that state of love in our core, then I don't want to say we're doing it wrong, but we could be digging deeper. State of unattachment. This is a big one right now. A lot of people are trying to be unattached. They are trying to step up into this unattached state. And in truth, what we're doing is we're becoming cold and being disconnected, and we're not actually feeling and being present and really being there. I was listening to Sadhguru, who I love. If you're interested in hearing some really beautiful thoughts and principles and beautiful spiritual guidance. I love Sadhguru. You can look him up on YouTube, or Facebook, or all the other places. But he was talking in his book about this idea of unattachment, and he said, basically, he didn't say the word bullshit, but he said basically it's bullshit. It's about knowing that life is always transient and always changing, and so not to grasp, but also to not live disconnected and cold and unfeeling, and to not fully be present with the people in our lives, and to not build emotions. Like, we need to be building the feelings and the emotions. That's how we're living. That's how we're living the orgasmic life. Someone was calling me. That's how we're living the orgasmic life. That's how we truly feel both the ups and the downs of our lives. And so when we get into this unattached space of like, I don't attach, again, we're disconnecting. And we're disconnecting from ourselves in this one, because we're not willing to fully be present with ourselves. We're not willing to fully feel all our feelings and live the human experience. Now, we don't want to attach to a point where, again, we're grasping and we can't let anything go, and we don't want anything in our lives to change, and we can't get on board with that. But guess what? That's part of life, and that's part of feeling. And if we disconnect from that element, we lose a lot of our growth and our expansion. And so while you don't want to be, again, so attached that you can't let go of things, attachment is important in our lives. It is it brings our deeper emotions. And so look at where you're too unattached in your life, and then conversely, like, look at where maybe you're too attached, because oftentimes we have a little bit of both in our lives. And then I saved my ultimate favorite. So I see this one all over the place, and it's this idea of your feelings, reactions are your problem. And while that's true, so I will say that is true, we also need to own as humans that our actions create a ripple effect into other people's lives. We do not live in a box. Our actions will cause a reaction. Now we're just talking, you know, basic life principles. You know, for every action there is another reaction. And the same is in our emotions. And so if I walk up to you and I punch you in the face, and then you start crying and you're upset and you're like, what the heck? Like, you were like, and you're upset, for me to look at you and go, well, your feelings and your reaction is your problem. Guess what? We need to also own, it's not that everybody else's feelings and emotions are our problem, because that gets us into an opposite issue. So how somebody feels about something is their reaction. It is theirs to own. However, we do need to own ourselves that we potentially did something, said something that created that reaction in them, that initiated the ripple. And so to really listen to each other, it's not about taking on someone else's emotions as much as it is listening and going, okay, here's what I said. Now tell me, how did that come across? What's the ripple effect? To learn more about ourselves and our fellow human. It is that rippling. It's not taking other people's emotions on, but it's also having compassion. It's having compassion. Again, if I punch you in the face and I'm like, well, that's your problem. That's your problem. You know, that is not compassionate. And I know that is an extreme example, but the same as if I say something hurtful to you and you start crying and I'm like, that's you know, I didn't cause that. The fact is, like, yes, it is that other person's job to deal with their trigger and to deal with that, but it's also my responsibility to realize that I don't live in a box, and I can't go around again doing the no fucks given and giving the finger to everybody and not caring how they react. I mean, I can. It's just incredibly unhealthy, and that is so. And I did a video a couple months ago on narcissism and how I actually disagree with a lot of what's going on around narcissism right now, because it's getting used. It's a real psychological diagnosis, and guess what? Very few people actually truly have this diagnosis. But I think this is why we're seeing so many people have these behaviors that are very narcissistic, is because we have lost that compassion, we have lost that connection with our fellow human. We have gotten into not a selfish, a self-centered place. And we believe we live in kind of our own little bubble, and nothing we do, say, or act impacts anybody in our lives. And just like the law of attraction, where, you know, you send an energy out, guess what? Your words do matter to other people. Your energy does matter. It does ripple out. It does connect with others. And so, all of this to say, really look at where you're using spirituality as a weapon instead of as a connective tool. Because in truth, I'm just feeling a little, not, and I don't like the word disgusted, but I'm going to use it, like, a little disgusted with the spiritual community right now, because we're using spirituality as a weapon instead of as a growth connective tool a lot of times. And so check yourself. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you what to believe. I'm just a coach on here, sharing my viewpoints, helping you grow, helping you have that orgasmic life. However, at the end of the day, I believe that all spirituality should come back to love. It should come back to a love of self, a love of others, an energetic love that is at our core. And so anything that disconnects you from that is, in my eyes, not true spirituality, not true growth. So, you know, we can acknowledge our egos. We can do that work. We can do that shadow work. It's not all sunshines and rainbows here. sometimes we have to do that difficult stuff. It's about doing it from a space of love. Making our decisions from a space of love, connecting in our relationships from a space of love and connection. And also, in truth, communicating. A lot of these principles are about communication. It's a shutting down of communication, whether that communication is energetic, whether that communication is with ourselves, or that communication is straight up communication in our relationships, or communication with even things like our career. Like, I write letters to my business, I write letters to my genitals, I write letters all the time. There's that communication too. That might not be necessarily verbal, but you are always communicating with the things in your life. So look at that. Look at that. Hopefully I got some ideas stirring. If you are ready to step up, we are headed towards the end of the year, guys. We only have a few more months of 2021. If you're ready to really step up, you are feeling that energy of change, reach out to me at addisonbell.net/contact, and we can set you up for a pleasure planning consult and really move you forward. Sometimes just having somebody to guide you or be there to hold space for you is all we need. And sometimes we need a big butt kick, and we need some learning, and we need some tantric energy work and things like that. Whatever you might need, reach out to me and we can connect. All right, guys, I love you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Think on those thoughts. I would love to see your comments, your likes, your shares on this video, and tell me what your opinion is, because you might be like, Addison, you're bullshit. This is all bullshit. Like, you're wrong. You're wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. It's okay. So, all right, guys, I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed. Bye.